All right, guys. So today's day 4. Just start day 4. So I actually gonna be covering day 2 and day 3 of my last challenge, what is learn Unreal Engine in 7 days. I am your host Pablo, and this is 7 days. All right, so let's get the cat out of the bag. And one of the main things, guys, I will always say that learning a new skill or creating something when you give yourself a limit is actually extremely hard. It is hard in the sense of putting your mindset to learn something because you will have doubts every single moment. You will think you fail in the most when things start going wrong. Okay, and that's what I want to cover in that video as well, and let you guys know the progress I actually done. So let's put it like this. So day 1, as I mentioned in my last video, it was rough because the moment I tried to start the software, I did download the 5.6, what is the newest one, and one of the issues I found was I needed to update my OS as well. Okay, I use a Mac, great computer, but I'm always kind of afraid to update to the latest version because a lot of times the Adobe Suite will not be able to run correctly. So every now and then I just ignore, but for me to be able to use the latest Unreal Engine, it actually required me to be able to get another piece of software that I could not download without the new version. So I had to do all those downloads. They're not small. I have really good internet. That's not the issue, but it took a while. So first day I felt kind of defeated. And you guys know when something doesn't work, you kind of like completely scrap your first day. And you're probably thinking, but you have a channel that talks about achieving a challenge in 7 days, and somehow you already gave up on day 1. No, I did everything I had to do. I did some other things I was supposed to do for the following day, so I did first, so I didn't have issues on the second day. Now, second day came along, and another problem you're always going to find when trying to learn a skill is it's scary, as I mentioned, and you're going to open the UI, you're watching the first class, and you realize it doesn't look anything like the person teach you. Now, one of the reasons is I am on a Mac, and they're teaching me on a PC. You guys probably know a lot of times environments look different. Some things look different in different pieces of software, okay? Also, hotkeys are different. So yeah, but for the most part, is to figure out. I'm also a PC guy, so I got there. But on the first day, after going through all that stuff and trying to figure out some menus, also because I was using 5.6 and they were using 5.52, I believe, it took a little bit, okay? And I got to the point I learned to make some basic shapes like a cube, what is fairly easy, and build that cube, okay? And then build another shape and learn how to use a little bit of the sun to create different shadows and use some materials. But for day 2, yeah, that looked like I'm way over my head. And you guys probably think you're already quitting, you're already defeating yourself. No, I'll get there. So day 3, right? Day 3 was a very slow start because you start thinking, I'm way over my head, like I said, and it took me forever. I mean, there are so many YouTube videos I wanted to watch before I start working, and yeah, I did that. So around 12 o'clock, I finally got myself, no, I need to stop, let me go, let me start the class again. So I start the classes, and that's where it changed. So I feel you know, when you learn something, it is hard, but mostly because you don't see the end game, right? Yeah, you're trying to create something, but you're learning such basic things first. And understand this, very important to learn the basic things because the basic things will help you create something bigger. But it's hard for you to tell yourself that. I am a long time learner and still I know this and I still fall into those same traps every single time. So didn't see much on day two. So start day three was hard, and then everything shifted because all those very basic things I had learned just start to make sense, and I start creating actual things. Not easy. Don't take me wrong. I had to go back. I created the first spaceship. Okay, the basics of the spaceship, and it didn't look right. Okay, there are a lot of things I had to fix later on. I realized that you have multiple menus that say the same thing, but only one will do things the way you want done. Okay, well, the other ones will do things the way you want done if you want them done that way. So took a little bit, but then by the end of the day, I pretty much scrapped everything I had done and made it again. Now, the second time, it went fairly fast. Okay, in the most comparison, the first basics of the spaceship I created in hours. It took me hours to get there, to understand everything I was doing, and still didn't do correctly. And then I was like, okay, let me scrap everything, let me go from the beginning, and it was so much easier. And all the mistakes I did, I started realizing where the mistakes were, and I was actually able to create this. So, pretty cool. In the most when you start seeing, like, now I can actually see what I'm doing. Now it looks exciting because you're actually producing something. Now, let me be very clear. This is a guided course. So I am creating exactly what they're creating. But the other side of my mind didn't want to stop. I actually stopped working. It was like 9:30 at night. But only because I felt I should stop. Because the next class I'm going to be taking, the next class has to do with lighting. Okay? And lighting is very important. And I felt if I tried to learn yesterday, I would have to stop probably in the middle because I feel lighting is probably a little bit more advanced. So I chose to not do it yesterday and start today. So got a good night of sleep. Actually woke up at 5. Already watching my YouTube videos just for fun. Not mine, the ones I like, the creators I like. So now I'm recording this video. I already recorded a video for my gaming channel. I am going to be releasing both of them, release both of them, and then start working again. But I do have to say it becomes better. The first few days, if you guys are trying to learn anything, it's gonna be rough, okay? But the moment you start achieving, the moment you start seeing what you're doing pay off, it gets exciting, and then you don't want to stop. So I know that by the 7th day, I'm not going to be a master designer on Unreal Engine, okay? But I'll know enough to be able to teach myself higher skills, and that's something I still gonna be doing because I am a filmmaker, and being able to learn Unreal Engine to help me with projects, that is very exciting. So if you guys, look, try to learn something, it's going to be rough the first few days. People learn different ways. But the moment you have this eureka moment, you'll be able to do anything. It may take a few more days, may take a week, but the moment you get it, you get it. Okay? So don't be afraid of learning. Guys, if you got to this point of the video, I really appreciate you. I appreciate you anyway. But Just want to remind you guys, leave a comment. Let me know if you are trying to learn anything right now. If you guys have any ideas of something I should try to learn next week, or just wish me luck in the comments. Give me a like, and I hope you guys have a great end of your week, a productive week. I am Pablo, this 7 days, and I'll see you on the next one.